compliance with the Open Public Meetings Law, I wish to state that on February 19, 2016, the notice of this meeting of the Upper Township Committee was posted on the official Township bulletin board, mailed to the Cape May County Gazette, the Atlantic City Press, the Ocean City Sentinel Ledger, the Herald Times, and filed with the Township Clerk. Tonight's meeting is being video recorded up until the closed session portion of this meeting and will be available on UTTV Channel 97 and on the Upper Township website. I hereby direct that this announcement be made part of the minutes of this meeting. I would ask all to rise for the salute of the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Barbara, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Barr?
Here.
Mr. Cosby?
Here.
Mr. Pearson?
Here.
Mr. Young?
Here.
Mayor Palumbo?
Here.
All members are present.
Okay. Would someone like to make the approval of the minutes from both the budget workshop, the regular meeting, and the closed session minutes from February 8th?
So moved. Second.
Okay, is there any corrections, deletions, omissions that anyone's aware of? Hearing none. Would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Cosby?
Yes.
Mr. Pearson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried.
Okay, so at this time, I think we'll move on to the presentation for this evening, and then we'll come back to the report of the governing body members, because it looks like Brady family are here, and we really would like to honor Dan Brady, someone who has really done a lot in the past for this township. He left us suddenly, but we're certainly saddened by that. But Daniel contributed a lot to this township, and it's very fitting that this township honors him for the amount of time, the different appointments that he took on the township, planning board, school board, things that, you know, we probably at times take for granted, but there's a lot of time and a lot of effort that's put into that, in serving on those particular boards. And it's also, I'm sure, because of his deep love for the township that he served for many, many years. So I would like to read the resolution and ask the family to come up after so that we can present it to you. But the resolution reads as this. It's honoring the memory of a friend, Daniel Brady, whereas the Upper Township Committee was deeply saddened to learn of the death of Daniel Brady, an inspiring individual who has tirelessly served our community for many years by generously donating his time to numerous civic and charitable organizations. Dan served in the community as a member of the Upper Township School Board for 9 years. He was president of the school board for 3 years, vice president of the Cape May County Board Association, member of the New Jersey School Board Association of Upper Township in Ocean City. He was a Kiwanis trustee of Upper Township Education Foundation, first certified board member in Cape May County by the NJSP-SB, member of the Upper Township Republican County Committee, and a member of the Upper Township Planning Board since 2005. Whereas Dan was actively involved in his professional community as a member of the Ocean City Hotel and Motel Association, the Ocean City Board of Realtors, the New Jersey Association of Realtors, and the National Association of Realtors. Dan's diversity of service included serving his country in the U.S. Army, being a member of the Tuckahoe United Methodist Church, and being a foster parent for 10 years. Dan will always be remembered for his service to others, which he undertook with the utmost integrity, fairness, and professionalism. Whereas it is just and deserving that on behalf of the residents of Upper Township that we honor and celebrate the life of our colleague and friend, Dan Brady. Now therefore be it resolved that this Township Committee join with all the citizens of our community to pay tribute to the life and service of Dan Brady, and do hereby extend to his family our most heartfelt sympathy for their loss, and the hope that they will be consoled by the memories of his fine life and his achievements. So, a round of applause. We ask the family to come up so we can present this resolution to you. Yeah, that's probably what it's used. I keep some of the guys up here so we can get a picture, you get everybody in the picture. I'll present this to you. So, we have the whole family, would you need a picture? So, could you do me a favor, Paul? Can you teach your cat or Ed to do it? We'll make sure, I think Colin stepped down, so we'll make sure he gets a copy of this picture. Very good. Thank you so much. Thank you. Now, you're welcome to stay, but you're also welcome to depart and do the other things. I know you got some children that might have homework and those kind of things, and maybe dinner and everything else that needs to be done.
Thanks again.
Have a good evening. All right, so we'll go back to some reports. Barbara, do you have anything for us this evening?
Nothing to report this evening.
Okay.
Thank you.
Daniel?
Nothing now, but we have a handful of closed session items.
Okay. Paul?
To make it easy this evening, I have nothing to report either. So.
Holy smokes, we're moving right along here. Barbara?
I have nothing.
John?
One thing, I had the pleasure last week of attending an event with the Upper Township Business Association, and it's a tremendous group. There's a lot of good things going on within that organization, and I see they have a representative here tonight, and hopefully he will speak up when it's time to make a public comment.
Okay. Hobie, you have anything for us this evening?
Just a couple. In Mansfield, we started putting the fabric up on the fencing. Concrete work was done in the refreshment stand area, and we started putting the pads for the dugouts. Also, we'll be having our second Easter egg hunt on March 19th. That's a Saturday, beginning at 1 o'clock. We're going to have the 20th will be a rain date, just in case. We hope we don't have that day available for us, but we'll see. It's going to be a smaller event this year a little bit. We're not going to have all the vendors, but we are going to have characters, probably pony rides, petting zoo, and some vendors out there. No live music this year. So we figure we'll try to streamline this one, have it more kid-oriented, and jump into 4th of July and try to make that a little bigger and better.
Okay, you still have eggs, right? You still have eggs?
Oh, yeah.
Just checking. I don't know where you're putting it back.
We have, we're looking at approximately 12,000 to 15,000 eggs we're going to have this year. So we are looking for volunteers. If anybody's interested, you can get a hold of myself or Shauna to stuff eggs and help us put them out that day. We're going to run a little bit different this year. We're going to have each age group set up and with a half an hour interval in between each one of them. But everything will be held in one field so we can control it. Instead of having kids and parents running on the other field where the eggs were put out to the older kids, and we get out there and they're all gone already. So it should be a better day. So hopefully we'll see everybody out there.
Okay. Edward?
Well, last week, Paul and I had the opportunity to meet with General Graham, who was the main man responsible for bringing the dredge back. Ted, I think you would have been happy to meet that gentleman. And he came onto the beach with his entourage to check and see what kind of progress they made. Thanked him on behalf of the township for the service that he provided us. And he has a pretty good understanding as far as how important Strathmere is to the viability of our township, and also Sea Isle. He going down to see how, I think it started, where do you start, Paul?
He actually started up in Longport
Longport, right?
and ended in Cape May and actually took the ferry, met with the DRBA and went across the ferry and then continued south into Delaware the following day.
Okay, so he got a pretty good education as far as the lay of the land and what our concerns are, and I think we have a person on our side that's going to be able to look out for us in the future. Other than that, that's all I have to report, sir.
Great. Jeff?
Just two quick things. The fire commission elections and budget process went off this past weekend. As far as I know, the budget's all passed and the people were elected that were running. I also had an article here, and she's not here tonight, Kristen Kelleher. She won 2 awards, and I thought, like you just mentioned, because she's usually here at our meetings, she won first place in the general news category for a photograph of a girl riding a bicycle. As an Ocean City police officer booked on during the Yukon Paramount explosion. Explosion last year, that's what they called it. She also won first place in the feature picture category for the same youth program that she was there at. So I thought it would be nice just to mention that in our meetings. She's very supportive of the committees with pictures and things.
Okay. The only thing that I want to add is that we did have a workshop meeting to discuss the budget, and we're at a point where we're trying to fine tune it. And for those that weren't aware, we are going to schedule an additional meeting next Monday in an effort to try and drill down even more on the requests. And hopefully be able to launch the budget sometime in the beginning of, or maybe our first meeting in March.
Second, we're looking at the second meeting
Second
in March
meeting in
to
March.
introduce.
So with that, we actually have a rather short agenda. We do have an ordinance and some other requests. So let's move on with the resolutions.
Item number 2, under resolutions, appointing Thomas G. Smith to act as special legal counsel regarding tax court matters and matters in which the regular township solicitor may have a conflict of interest.
Motion to appoint.
Second?
Would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Hagas?
Yes.
Mr. Pearson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Colombo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Item number 3, authorizing change order number 3F for the NJDOT Municipal Aid Project, reconstruction of Bayview Drive from north of Sumner Avenue to North Webster Avenue, contract resulting in an increase in the amount of $2,530.
Motion to authorize.
Second.
Would you call the roll?
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Hagas?
Yes.
Mr. Pearson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Colombo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Item number 4, authorizing the Township of Buffer to enter into cooperative pricing agreement for participation in the City of Ocean City Cooperative Pricing System number 251 co-op.
Motion to authorize.
Second.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Pearson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Colombo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Item number 5, under ordinances, public hearing and final adoption of ordinance number 1, 2016, and ordinance amending revised general ordinance, chapter 7 of the Code of Upper Township. This is a public hearing.
Before I
Continuation of the public hearing, and just before we open it up to the public again, I will report that we did receive resolution 15916 from the county, which authorizes the township to adopt this resolution, adopt this ordinance,
Okay.
since it's county road requirement.
So unless there's any additional comments from the committee, I'll open it up if anyone from the public would like to address the township committee with respect to this ordinance revision or addition to what we have in place. And it affects Mosquito Landing, Tuckahoe Road, north side of Tuckahoe Road, also the south side of Tuckahoe Road, westerly from Stagecoach, and both sides of Tuckahoe Road at a distance of 300 feet easterly from Stagecoach. No parking restrictions were approved by the Cape May County Board of Freeholders. So at this time, would anyone like to address the Township Committee on that? Okay, it doesn't appear that we have any public comment to the public hearing portion of this, so I'll close the public portion and entertain a motion for adoption.
Move to adopt.
Second. Would you call the roll?
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Powell?
Yes.
Mr. Pearson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried.
So just for clarification, because, there was some questions asked in the last meeting. Now that the ordinance is in place, do we have signs ready to be posted?
Yes, they are. After our last meeting, we talked with the maintenance crew and made sure that they took a sign inventory and made sure everything was ready. And I'll be meeting with them, now it's approved, and make sure they get posted out there this week.
Okay, so, and I would suggest that we at least notify the state troopers and really our municipal court.
They should get a copy of the ordinance.
Absolutely.
Lieutenant Pearson's here, that's it.
Oh, okay. Oh, didn't see you back there, then, sorry. Well, now you know, we have a sign in place, so you can enforce it. Okay, so let's move on to the introduction of the next ordinance.
Item number 6, introduction and first reading of ordinance number 4, 2016, an ordinance revising job classifications and titles and amending chapter 5 entitled Personnel of the Code of Upper Township. And we could have the public hearing on this for March 21st.
Move to introduce.
Second.
Okay, we have first and second. What was the date on that?
March 21st.
Okay, would you
Okay.
call the roll, please?
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Pearson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Item number 7, introduction and first reading of ordinance number 5, 2016, an ordinance amending ordinance number 15, 2015, known as the salary ordinance for the calendar year 2016. And again, if we could have a public hearing on March 21st, 2016, that would work well.
Okay,
Motion to introduce?
Second.
would you call the roll?
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Pearson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Item number 8, under correspondence, the 2015 JIF Safety Incentive Program Award. And the amount of the award is $2,150.
We have Terry Smooth in our audience, and I'd like her to come up and at least tell us what happened with this. This is very good,
Okay, sure.
if you wouldn't mind.
No, not at all. The $2,150 is to actually celebrate the employees who are doing their job well done. We had an excellent year for 2015. So far, 2016, we're heading in the right direction. By this time next year, I'm hoping that will be an point where I'm hoping that our assessment will go down. I'm looking for a reduction.
That's good. I know that you work closely with the safety committee and a lot of other individuals to ensure that, we meet, I'd say, not only the criteria, but the challenges that the JIF puts before us. And it's always a good effort because it's, a lot of initiatives that move towards creating a safer work environment for our employees and really for the residents as well. So we appreciate the good work that you do, being the safety coordinator, along with Jay Potter and those that serve on that. I think you serve on that too, right?
Yes.
It really is, it's kudos to you guys to continue the great efforts that you're doing, so.
Thank you. We also had a couple of JIF firsts. Tom Heist was the first registered, he's an RNC, to receive the high safety award last year. No other RNC has received it throughout the JIF. And I was sworn in as the 2016 chairman.
Congratulations. Terry, do you have a board up somewhere that gives the tally of days without a lost work incident and the days without an on-the-job injury?
We do have it at Public Works. I think we're up to 60-some days without a lost time accident. We did make it to 171. So, again, a lost time accident is something which will be over day 8. Person can be out for 7 days, and 8th day, when the workers' comp kicks in, that's when it happens. Last year, I believe we only had 9. And the lifeguards, I have to thank them, because at one time, one summer, I picked up the phone and every other thing was an injury. And they have not had an injury in a few years.
And one of the efforts in the budget is that we're replacing the old real heavy lifeguard stands with aluminum ones that are a lot easier to move, and that really was the cause of most of the injuries.
Anything moving forward is great. The aluminum stands are great. The automated trucks are great. We think that one back injury we had at one time was over $200,000. So they can get pricey, and they usually don't go away. And you continually pay for them. So the automated equipment, thank you, that helps immensely. We are an aging group.
As we are up here.
And yes, John, she does have the board, and it's on the front of her desk.
Yes, I look at it every morning when I come in and bless them as they go out. I say a prayer every time we go out, because they're still feeding on ball. And they still have, it's still upper body. They've been doing this for a while, and then your body just really takes so much. So they're a great group, and they work hard.
Paul, could we do something in conjunction with the safety meeting and Upper Township TV, where we would have either the safety slogan of the month, where we could put up perhaps the the days that we've accomplished working without a lost work injury and things like that on the.
We do put a safety message up on UTTV. We could add the number of lost days, without an accident on there. We could add that.
It may be great for all the residents to, to cheer our employees on for,
Sure.
having a safe day.
Yes, we can work on that.
Correct.
So we do have the $21.50 for the safety. We have $800 allotted to us for wellness. And Janet McBride has actually agreed somewhat well. We put her name down as our wellness coordinator, and hopefully we've got a couple folks in for the special safety resident recognition award, which will be in April with the safety branch.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Terry.
Item number 9, under new business, we have the American Cancer Society requests the use of Amanda's Field for the Relay for Life event on June 24th, 25th, and 26th of 2016.
Move to allow?
Second. Let's call the roll.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Pearson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Plumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Item number 10, Country Shore Women's Club requests to hold a bingo number 457 and a raffle number 458 on April 22nd, 2016 at the Seaville Volunteer Fire Company Fire Hall.
Move to approve.
Second?
Let's call the roll.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Pearson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Plumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Item number 11, Police Unity Tour. Chapter 2 requests use of Amanda's Field parking lot on May 10th, 2016 for a rest stop along the tour.
Move to approve.
Second.
Let's call the roll.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Pearson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Plumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Item number 12, bid results for the supply of irrigation supplies at Amanda's Field.
Paul?
We received the bids. There was only one bidder for the project. Been going over the prices with Barb, and the recreation supervisor is looking at getting a secondary price quote, possibly through a state contract vendor. So just to ensure that, because we only got one bidder for this, I'd request that we wait till the next meeting to make an award, just because, budgets are tight and we're trying to, get as much as we can out of here. So I think it'd be incumbent upon us to verify it, considering we only had one bidder. If we had more bidders, I don't know if I'd make that recommendation, but with only one bidder, I'd rather do a little more due diligence and make sure that we're okay with the pricing.
Okay, so we will re-agendize this and unfinished business for the next meeting. And I guess my question is if we look at what is available through a state contract, let's say it's lower, and let's hope it is lower, we don't have a problem with going in the other direction.
That's one of the reasons you can reject the bids to go to the state contractor.
Okay, good.
Okay. Item number 13, bid results for supply of infield mix at Amanda's Field.
Paul?
Here again, we did have two bids, but the one price of the one was astronomically high.
I know, I mean, we are looking at two bids. One says 177,000, one says 23,000. I don't even get how, like, what are we, I mean,
At the bid opening, the one vendor was explaining, the vendor that had the very high price, he was not able to acquire any of the mix in bulk. So these were bags of the
Infield mix.
not the infield mix.
I'm sorry, the
other
warning
one,
track.
The warning track.
material.
The warning track. And the second vendor, who was a lot lower, was able to acquire it in bulk.
This is for the warning tracks, not the infield mix.
Correct.
Okay,
Yes.
making sure.
so, for,
And even that warning track material was a little bit higher than what we had anticipated, so
How many fields
I
we're gonna be doing with that? Now, what was,
think we have,
Paul, what was the unit? Was it a cubic yard or was it
that was a ton.
it was a ton? Okay.
Tonnage price.
so is this the same thing as the last one, where we could look at what the state
Unfortunately, they don't have state contract pricing, but I did get a chance really to get with Hobie and baseball to, that pricing for the warning track material was a little, I think, higher than what we had anticipated it coming in at. So I want to meet with baseball and Hobie to go over that a little bit
are we doing
more.
all 4 fields or
No,
just the 2?
just to finish it too. So I want to verify quantities and because they had purchased some material themselves.
I hope not in bags.
I hope it's not too. So I just want to verify some of that pricing also, just to find out if there's a better way to economize on that project.
So we're just doing the 2 with the grass infields for now.
Correct.
Because we took all the base path warning tracks out, then the power lines and all,
I know. So I just want to.
which just seems,
It's higher than what I had anticipated, and I just want to meet with baseball and Hobie to go over that pricing.
okay.
So we want this
Table.
Table until next
as
meeting.
well.
Yes,
Yeah, as soon as we can.
I realize that, but with that.
We're running out of time for any hope to have those fields up and operating, so.
That may be the biggest swing in bid pricing I've ever seen, ever, in all the years I've been on this township committee. At first, I thought it was a misprint.
That's what I thought. Somebody missed. I thought somebody missed the decimal place.
17,000 instead of 177,000, so.
It was nice to have the vendor there to explain.
No.
Okay, item number 14, under discussion, update to the Cape May County Hazard Mitigation Plan, the Upper Township Annex.
Oh yeah.
Who's leading the discussion on this?
Since our OEM director was here, but he left after the budget hearing.
He got his money and left.
The assistants here.
Got his money and ran.
I've been working on this with Scott for a while. this is, besides being required as part of OEM planning, it's also required as part of our floodplain management and CRS program. It's a required element, but we're working in conjunction with the county. If you see, it's like section 9.12. Well, each there's a countywide plan, and then each municipality has their own section. And this is actually an update of the plan that was created several years ago. And the biggest thing and the most important part, from my standpoint, besides just acknowledging and addressing what all the different hazards that we need to address and plan for, and really why you do that is, so down at the end, at the bottom, they get into the mitigation action items, that come out of this, and what we see we need to do to plan and complete so that we can be better prepared for any natural or unnatural disaster that could affect our municipality. And that, without those items being addressed in this plan, we can't apply for federal funding through the, whether it's after each disaster, federally declared disaster, there's mitigation funds that become available. That's how we received emergency generator for the EMS building, because we had identified that as a need and we put that in our plan. If that had not been in our plan, we wouldn't have been able to get that grant. So one reason why we're discussing it here is that we want as many eyes on it as we can, because everybody has a different perspective. We've distributed this to the planning board. We've distributed this to the all the chiefs of the fire district and Chief Potter, and but we're hopefully going to put this out on the website, have it up there for a month, and the public's welcome to look at it, take a look at it. Committee, please look at it. And if you think of anything else that other hazards that maybe we haven't identified, or corrective actions that we haven't come up with, nothing's too crazy sometimes. One of the action items in there is during Hurricane Superstorm Sandy, during evacuation, everybody you think of the Parkway as one of the major evacuation routes, but there was a point where the Parkway was impassable. Well, it should be something where the Parkway should look at raising part of their roadway so that it's above flood levels. That being one of the major evacuation routes out of Cape County. So those are the types of things, and little things. So just take a look at it. We're going to put it on the website, so the public has a chance to review it and make any comments. And
So this is an evolving document.
This is an evolving document, and every year, if you remember, every year as part of our, we usually do it towards the end of the year and towards August. We do an update to this plan and look at what needs to be updated and make recommendations. So this is a major update, but every year we do an update for it. So please take a look at it. If you have any comments, please let Scott Morgan or myself.
Can you make your tablet away from the microphone? I think that's what's causing it.
I was wondering, because usually you say it's a phone, and none of us seem to have a phone up there. So.
So it'll be up there. So please take a look at it and get any comments to myself or Scott Morgan.
Okay. Great. So we'll take this as an FYI. You don't need to have an acceptance.
We will have need for acceptance, but at this point, we're putting it out there as part of our public participation process, looking for as many stakeholders to take a look at it, and it will be probably coming back to you probably in late March, early April for endorsement.
Okay.
Thank you.
Someone like to make a motion to pay the bills?
I hereby move that all claims submitted for payment at this meeting be approved and then incorporated into the full minutes of this meeting.
Second. Please call the roll.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Pearson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Plumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried.
There are 4 reports from our municipal departments: the clerk's office, the tax assessor, finance office, and municipal court. They will all be available tomorrow morning at the clerk's office if you'd like to make a request to see those reports. But at this time, I'll make a motion to accept the reports.
Second.
Would you call the roll?
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Pearson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Plummer?
Yes.
Motion carried.
So at this time, we'll open it up if there's any public comment. Now's the time to address the township committee. Please state your name and address, and then what you have in mind to speak to the township committee.
Kevin Brothers with the Greenfield. My question is regarding the new Osprey Point development. It's my understanding there's changes, there's not going to be any low-income housing in there anymore. Is that true?
Paul, you probably have the figures, but from what I understand, I mean, it's all,
They're moving off-site.
Correct, there's still an affordable component to the project. They're just not being built on-site, they're being built off-site in existing structures in accordance with the township ordinance.
and they were required to build, to do additional.
Additional ones, because they're not on-site now, they're required to actually provide
22 to
more.
28.
Correct.
Now, it's my understanding from talking to the person on site, they're actually purchasing foreclosures in the township, and they're going to rehab them and then sell them. Is that true? Is that the agreement that was made?
I don't believe they're selling them. I thought one of the agreements was that they would have rental.
They have to have 7 rental units, I think, Paul.
Correct.
There's two different ways of accomplishing that. There were, I mean, obviously it's up to the developer to do that, but it's certainly, I think there were stopgaps in the development where they have to have a certain amount of units in place before they can move on with the project.
Correct.
So where in the township are they supposed to build a new low-income housing? Have the sites already been picked out, or they've already been?
They're existing houses.
Okay, so they're all not new construction, they're rehabs?
They're rehabs.
Okay, so let me ask you this. The Osprey Point was a rateable, if I'm not mistaken, is that correct?
You talking about the first Osprey Point?
The one that they're building now, that was supposed to have low-income housing?
I mean, Osprey Code.
Osprey Code, yes, correct. So that was, by Mr. Hook's answer to me at a previous meeting, that was a rateable, correct?
It's a commercial rating.
Okay, so and they were basing the housing, the taxes on those houses, how? Just, they paid one lump sum and they break it up that way?
Yeah, any commercial anyway, Paul. It's all based on street frontage and
What?
land area and all
For a
those
mobile home
issues.
park, they're assessed for the
Structure,
commercial
not
rateable. I
tax.
don't, you'd have to talk to the tax assessor to determine
Yeah.
how they're taxed.
If it's not a structure, it's not taxed. If
Right.
that's what you're asking.
No, that's not what I'm asking. I'm asking, based on a low-income housing tax rate on these places that you're supposed to be in, a rateable, as opposed to...
You're talking about the tax value of a low-income house?
Yeah.
It would be whatever the market value of that house would be.
I'm sorry.
So if it's deed restriction, low income, there's a certain market value. Let's say it's $120,000. That's what the assessment would be.
Right, so we're assuming that this company can find enough of these houses where the low enough taxes to
I don't
keep
think
them
it's
low
an
income
assumption.
housing.
I wasn't at the planning board, but I believe that that's a requirement of planning board approval, that they have to.
Even if they lose money on the places they buy, they cannot sell it beyond.
They can sell them or they can rent them.
They have to generate for the co-housing.
Well, I mean,
So if they pay 170,000, Kev, and the medium is 125, they got to sell it for 125.
Or they can rent it.
Does the tax assessment on the property have anything to do with qualifying it as a low-income housing? The reason I'm asking this, if they get a foreclosure, let's say somewhere on Summers Avenue where the houses are, taxed at a $500,000-$600,000 rate, taxes are what, $8,000-$9,000 a year, is that going to qualify as low-income housing?
Let me answer the question on tax assessment. It has nothing to do with whether it's an affordable house or not. The fact that it's an affordable house may affect its value. Tax assessments are all about the value, market value of the property. So if the property only generates $1,000 a month income because it's affordable housing, then that's the value of the property, and that's what the tax assessor uses to set the value for taxes. Basically, whatever the market value of the property is, if it's an affordable house, it's going to be low. And that's how they set the taxes.
Well, it's a foreclosure, it's not the same, if you buy foreclosure,
Doesn't matter.
under the premium rate of what the house is, when the tax assessor comes out, on the tax of the property.
Again, I'm not talking about what they paid for it, or whether it was a foreclosure or an estate sale. It's what its market value is in the opinion of the assessor. That determines the taxable value, the tax rate, not tax rate, I'm sorry, the assessed value for the tax rate. So the assessed value is determined by what the assessor thinks the market value is. They take into consideration if there's a restriction on it. If there's a restriction that says it can only be sold for $120,000, well, there's your market value.
Okay, so then they can buy a house in foreclosure that's, say, valued, market value at $500,000, sell it at $120,000, and the person that would purchase that house will only be assessed on $120,000.
Yes, and there'll be income limits on who can go in there, or it won't be sold to a rich person.
Okay, that's what I'm asking. So now, since they don't have all these houses yet, they have to, is the township requiring them to put any money into escrow to make sure that they can buy these houses, or to make sure that the money's there to purchase these houses if they don't go and do it?
They're limited on, it's a phased-in process, so they have to, for every number of units that they want to construct, they have to have already set aside or identified which units they're going to do it. So say they get to a point where they can't find, or they don't want to do any more off-site, they could choose to put them within their
Back into
unit.
the site.
So there's nothing restricting them from putting them in the site, this is just a new plan, so they don't have to have them in the actual Osprey Code as of now.
They're complying with you.
That was at the developer's request.
Okay.
But it's more than that. We're allowed, our ordinance lets you take existing houses in the township and make them affordable, or build the affordable in your project. And when they first did it, they said they're going to build the affordable in the project. I think I wasn't at the planning board, but this is my understanding. Paul, please correct me if I'm wrong. And then they came back in and said, we found another place off-site we'd like to rehab and make affordable.
Well, if that's the case, why doesn't the township get a list of all the houses that are in foreclosure in Upper Township and deem them affordable housing already? And then that way it solves your problem of finding these affordable houses. That way, if somebody's going to purchase the house, they rehab the house, the understanding already knowing that this is going to be an affordable house, and they can only purchase it and sell it or rent it as a low income property.
The township is in the process. They have a program called Market to Affordable, which is essentially what you're talking about. It doesn't have to be a foreclosure house. It could be just a rundown house that can get fixed up. From the fees, the residential development fees that people have to pay now when they get a building permit, we amassed a certain amount of money. We're using those funds. We hired Triad Corporation to go out, identify market rate houses, which is exactly what you just said, and then produce a program. This organization produces a program where they convert that to an affordable house. That's the best program for the township because it's based on fees that the developers have given us. For us to go out as a township and do it on our own, that's taxpayer money to go do that. And that would be, they could do it, but that's not your first choice. You'd rather have developers create out of their own funds the affordable housing because there's a cost to that. We may buy a market rate house at $150,000 and then only be able to, once it's fixed up, only be able to sell it with all the restrictions at a $120,000 rate. So it's a loss of $30,000, and you really don't want to do that with public funds if a developer will do it.
Right, understand. Just give me 1 second, I have a couple notes here to go through. I think that's it. Thanks.
Okay.
Thank you.
Doug, would you like to address us for a few minutes and give us a little update of where the township's going? Would you mind?
Sure.
I was off for a couple of weeks, but things are going well. We have a new class that graduated, if you didn't know that. So 8 more troopers are on the road in the probationary phase right now, so you'll see them double up during the days and the nights for a couple of months, and then once that's over, they'll be out on the road. But back to business, doing well. Making a lot of stops out there, doing a great job from a community policing, criminal enforcement perspective.
And how are your town meetings going? I know you have some coffee classes.
Oh, real good. I just did one at the Dunkin' Donuts. That was good. Ralph was there, and maybe 5 or 6 other people there, so it was a great informative session. Just trying to work with the community, how I can do a better job, what we can do within the community. We even had some suggestions about their farmers market, putting up a little state police booth there, just hand out information or to talk to the public. Anything we can do to get out there more and be more visible. So it was a little slow. I took a couple months off because of being busy, but try to get out once every third or fourth month to each of the townships we cover. So I think it's a great time. Raffles people in that too, right? It's always a good time. Yeah.
Is there anything that you think the township could help aid you in it and your force in any way that you could think of?
Off the top of my head, I think things are running pretty smoothly. I'm talking to Scott a lot, Morgan, and so we do a lot of things together. He's helped us out. I know you're familiar with that mapping system he helped us get,
Right.
which will definitely help us for 911 calls, even if it saves a minute or two. That could be a life-saving measure. But so far, everything, nothing but accolades, and everything's been running great, and the council's been wonderful.
Well, I know that I speak for the residents. We certainly appreciate your presence and, your really openness as to, issues that arise, and also, the community feels very safe, having you and your force patrol our area and certainly respond to emergency calls. So if there's anything that the Township Committee can do to assist in any way, we're open to whatever, your needs may be.
And likewise, if there's ever anything you need, let me know. I did those traffic programs last year. I'm going to plan on trying to do them again this year. I did the Project Medicine Drop in different areas, in different townships, so I'm always trying to, it's a mobile medicine drop, so I'm trying to do that in different areas to collect the medications so people don't have to drive to the station.
And I will say that on a national scale, that Operation Take Back of opiates and prescription medications has really helped to curtail some of the prescription drug abuse that's going on a national scale. I mean, obviously, there's still a lot of issues that need to be addressed, but that Take Back program and disposal of that certainly stops at least somebody from an opportunity of having them available to them. I compliment you on doing that program as well.
And we really got to just continue to educate. And last year did a couple things. The turnout was low, but it's not going to stop us from just constantly going out. We did that crash demonstration with Chief Potter and Newland, and that was excellent. We're going to do that again. We had about 100 people show up, right? It's probably about 100 people over at Manus Field. Very informative. We'll try to do that again for sure. Just keep educating. That's all we can do. And I thank you for all the promotion you do. Great with the website, put everything up there, to do something, so it's a cooperative effort for sure.
Great.
Mayor, thank you.
Thanks. Hold on.
Yes, I'd just like to add too, that they participate in our Upper Township Chiefs meetings too, so it's not just here that they come to show their face, they participate in a lot of things in the community. So
Yeah, Dave Roberta, who's the assistant station manager, he usually works a 3 to 11 shift, so he tries to go to as many meetings as he can. Again, just to keep those lines of communication open, which are so important.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Howdy, I'm Ralph Cooper, 6 Gladden Drive. At John's suggestion, I'm just going to make a couple comments on the Upper Township Business Association and the Green Team. See if you have any questions. We're going to try with business associations to have a member of our board come to as many meetings as we can in the future, just to be observers and see if there's anything that we can help with as far as the township. Just as information, we have a Earth Day activity planned for April 23rd. This is a Saturday. We did this last year, and we had, well, it's 2 years we've had it now, so it's a pretty good program. Any questions on the Business Association? Appreciate Committeeman Cotton's coming to our meeting last week, and we try to have monthly meetings. We have about 100 members in the Business Association, and we alternate between mixers and having dinner meetings with speakers. So it's a pretty good program for the township, and it helps build pride in the township.
On behalf of the committee, if the business association sees opportunities for the township to become more business friendly, please keep us informed, because that's one of the things that we like to do. We welcome businesses in the community, and you do a great service for us.
Okay, thank you. So the Green Team, I've been involved as a volunteer for over 2 years now. I wanted to thank the committee for all the support and cooperation we've been getting over those 2 years. A lot of activities we've done, including last summer helping support the farmers market that we had in the township. We've been having monthly meetings. We started in December and we had our last one last week in the evening to try to have like what we call work sessions to get the community people who work during the day to come out and have an awareness of what the green team and the farmers market is doing. So we're getting more volunteers that way. We're also partnering with the Upper Township Business Association for this green team activity. Earth Week activity. A lot of communities have worked it the other way, where the green team goes out and tries to get community support. In this case, it's been fortunate over the past 2 years that the Business Association has actually been the driver of many of these Earth Day activities, so it's been a refreshing situation for us. We're planning some new activities and some new actions for the coming year. As you know, the township was certified 2 years ago on the Sustainable Jersey program, and we keep looking for new opportunities to have activities in the township. The Sustainable Jersey program has like 19 categories and 180 different activities you can get involved with. And so we're just trying to make sure we don't get overloaded, but to keep new ones on there. So when new volunteers come along, that we can get them involved. We're also collaborating with the communities around us. We've had meetings with Dennis Township and Woodbine, and as 2 examples on green teams, because we don't want to reinvent the wheel. If we can have an activity that they can come and help support us, that's going to be better for everybody. And conversely, if Woodbine has an activity that we can send people over there, it's a good situation too. March 16th, we're going to be involved as our green team with a 2-county hub. We've had these over the past 2 years. These are collaborative meetings with the green teams in Cape May and Atlantic counties. This time last year, we had a collaboration meeting in Corbin City at Bell's Restaurant. We had about 80 people show up. That was talking about the Sustainable Schools program, which is now started, and Upper Township schools are involved with that program. So on March 16th, we're having a hub meeting, and the topic is going to be civic engagement. What we're attempting to address is how communities can get the citizens more involved in community activities and more involved with the local government, and also to try to get more volunteers for a lot of these projects that we all have the same problem with, trying to get volunteers to turn out. And last thing I'll say is we just started this month building a list of nonprofits in the township. The green team is going to have that list on our website, and we'll try to make that available. So if any group is having an activity like your Spring Fling and wants to, know who to contact for these different things, we'll try to have that available. So I think that'll be a neat service that we can provide to the community and to the township. Any questions on the green team?
Paul, do you want to add anything to that? Are you actively involved with that?
Ralph does a great job in kind of keeping the green team moving in a good straight direction with all this positive influence and enthusiasm. So I think he's a great asset to the team, and we're lucky to have him.
So when are your meetings scheduled?
Which?
You said you meet monthly at night?
The green team meets, we've been meeting the third Thursday at 5:30 at the library. We have one scheduled coming up in March. It's green, so it's on St. Patrick's Day. We tried that because I've worked with other groups, and there's so many things going on that you always bump into conflicts. But so far, we've been successful in getting new people to come out, because 5:30 at night, it's hard to have a conflict at least like that. Our regular monthly meetings are the second Tuesday of each month at 1 o'clock here in Township Hall.
Okay. So we'll make sure that we get that information out for the March 17th meeting, 5:30. Wear your green.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else at this time?
I do have one more question. Totally different. Is it true that township is discussing changing some of the trash routes where residents are going to have to move their cans? Some residents are going to have to put cans on the opposite side of the street to make it easier for the trucks to pick up.
Yes.
Do you know that some of the locations that's being discussed?
Most of those locations are on small dead-end streets or side roads where it's difficult either for the truck to back in and just to make it more efficient for the township to provide trash collection service.
Doesn't this raise a concern for the safety of the residents? I mean, the township.
Actually, from an industry point of view, it's considered a safer way to do it when you're collecting on a one-way street or on a back down or a dead-end street if you can do it all from one side. It prevents the driver from having to get out. It prevents from having the truck to turn around and try to go down the wrong way and then back out of a street onto a through street in traffic. So from an industry perspective, that is the more efficient and the more safety-oriented way to do it.
Yeah, but didn't the township at one point want the township employees to just drive the truck down one side of the road, pick up the cans, come back down the other side, pick up the cans so that they weren't crossing the streets themselves?
It sounds like that these are not streets where it's very easy to navigate the vehicle. So the suggestion is if they put it on one side, then, it would, make it safer for the driver to make turns and whatever he needs to do to get in and out of the street. It would also be safer probably if there's children in the neighborhood, that the vehicle isn't making, turns and those kind of things. So the trash trucks were put in place for a number of reasons. Certainly safety was one of the highest reasons for our employees first. And then also, I think from an aesthetic standpoint, you'd be hard pressed to find anyone that isn't happy with the containers that we supplied for this new system. It's very consistent. You don't have a lot of debris being blown all over the place. The cans are very stable. There's a lot of reasons why the whole thing was put into place. But as Mr. Coggin said, in some of these streets, where there's very narrow cul-de-sac or a narrow throughway through the street and cars are parking, out on the street and not necessarily in the driveway for whatever reason, it's something that creates a better scenario for pickup and overall probably safer.
And
If the truck has to back down that street anyway, the only one you're putting out in that situation is the resident.
But you'd have to back down it twice, Kevin.
Right, you see what ordinarily happens with, especially, when you're dealing with some of the longer dead ends with the automated side load trucks. If the truck were to head in to collect the right-hand side of the road, then he would have to back out onto a through street where you have a tremendous blind spot in one of these trucks. Even with the trucks that are equipped with the side view cameras, you don't have a wide enough angle to back out onto the through street without really getting a good look at the traffic that's coming your way. So the idea is to back into the street because you're backing into a street which ordinarily doesn't have a high volume of traffic. You're collecting everything on the one side and then you're pulling out. When you're pulling out into traffic, when the driver has more visibility. Now that's the theory behind routing that way, from an industry perspective. But,
And we're not talking about having residents on Route 9, Route 50, and state highways. We're talking about local cul-de-sac type streets that are, low
right,
volume
on a state highway or where you have a double yellow line or even a dotted line, you're going up one side and you're coming down the other side. I mean, that's
Correct.
the most efficient way to route.
Do you have any examples of what streets are going to be?
Yes, I mean, we'll say, Mr. Coggin lives on Coventry Lane, and there's a small little cul-de-sac, Cheshire Lane, off to the side that has two little driveways on it. We're probably gonna ask those residents not to put them down, the cul-de-sac's probably only 150 feet long, to have them put their cans out there. Another location, Narrows Road and Steelmantown Road. areas where there's only probably on one side of the road 4 houses, on the other side of the road 2 houses. We'd ask those 2 residents to put them on the other side of the road so that we only have to go down that 1.5-mile stretch or 2-mile stretch one time instead of having to loop around there twice and save the truck fuel and time and mileage and wear and tear.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, well, it appears that there's no other public comment this evening, so we'll close the public portion of the meeting.
Excuse me, I have something to say.
Wow.
For both portions.
All right, so go over to the microphone, state your name and your address and what you'd like to talk to the township about. Timing is everything, I suppose.
Okay. Hi, my name is Robert Brimley. I live at 390 Ocean Avenue in Marmora, or Palermo. And my concern is short and sweet, 2 things. One, I'd like to, sure it's been thought about a lot, but it would be nice if our township offered a pre-K type of program for children that wouldn't be a pay type of program.
Okay, so just so you're aware, the township committee really doesn't have any jurisdiction over the school board and the functioning. That kind of question, although there are those that certainly support what you're suggesting, and I believe there is a pre-K in place for some individuals. I think
Yeah, for handicapped individuals and other people that would need like a certain status.
But township committee really doesn't have any authority over that.
Fair enough. Second concern, which would be a township issue, is that, we have the automated trash program, and I applaud it, I think it's excellent. But, when there's times when you might have a little extra, if you have a can that meets with the automated requirements, I think that any eligible can, Lowe's sells cans, they sell cans all over that have the bars for automatic type of lifting and using, and as long as it's properly marked, whether it be for recycle or for regular, I feel that it shouldn't be only ones that say Upper Township should be able to be used.
Well, let me just say this. We actually offer, you have to pay for them, additional cans.
Correct, at $100 a can.
Well, there's also smaller ones, correct?
And we charge the same price to use the can.
So, part of it is for consistency, and part of the reason why this program is I'd say been well received, is that there is consistency in what's being put out. There's the same cans that are routinely put out. Everyone has the same kind of cans. And what we've tried to avoid is to have multi-purpose cans that are out there that are not as resistant to wind and, if we start doing that, we break the closed opportunity that we have in place at this point.
We also have 2 other reasons. One is from a maintenance standpoint. If there are cans, there are responsibility. If a homeowner goes and buys a can for Lowe's or Home Depot, they're not necessarily the same quality of construction, and we don't want to take the responsibility that if for some reason we damage that can, that the homeowner comes back and says, you broke the wheel off my can, and then we get into having to replace something that we didn't feel was specified. The other reason is, we have the ability with these cans that they have an RFID chip in them, to be able to track cans where they are at different property owners, as well as to track, how many times did we tip a resident's can, or just to do quantitative and quantity data on how we're collecting and where we're collecting.
It would be like the same as it would be prior to automated. If the can got broke, the can got broke. If it's a homeowner's can, they accept responsibility for the can. And if this can that's automatic truck certified, they can be used, and they have them, they're clearly labeled as such. If a homeowner chooses to spend $40 on a can that's the same automatic type of lift as a $100 can, I feel that a homeowner should be given that right to be allowed to use again, if a can breaks, the homeowner understands, I paid $40 for a can. It might not be as good as the $100 can, or maybe it's just as good, but you know what, at that point, it's the homeowner's choice, and just to have as a secondary backup, the first being the Upper Township can, I don't see why there should be a dictatorship as to which type of can should be used. I mean, if it's automatic, it's automatic. If it's not, it's not. But as long as it can be able to be picked up, then it should be allowed to be used.
Well, I'm not going to argue either way with you on that. All I can tell you is that many municipalities that use the system that we put in place, and it's now, 3 years that we put this in place, no other community has any opportunity to go outside of what is a part of the whole program.
I can provide with documentation.
One of the reasons for going to a system like this is to control your volume of disposal. There have been a lot of studies on the amount of volume that comes out of an individual household. And the reason that you give somebody a 96-gallon trash can and a 96-gallon recycling can is because you want to encourage that homeowner to pull everything that's recyclable out of the waste stream and to put it in your recycling can. So basically, when you're talking about 2 96-gallon cans, which every homeowner in the township is issued, that gives them the opportunity to throw the equivalent of 6 trash cans out every week. Now, if there were somebody who had an unusual circumstance, for example, if you're a guy with 12 kids and, maybe that 96-gallon can isn't enough, then of course the township would make an arrangement with you. If you're talking about putting out, a lot in excess of that, I think you probably would be, that's one of the reasons that we're trying to do it. We're trying to control the volumes. We're trying to keep the landfilling costs down. And that's what these toter systems typically are able to do.
Again, all I'm saying about is having a backup can. First being primary from the township, a second being that homeowners should be given the right to use an automatic can that would be eligible if they need backup Christmas time, Easter time, birthday time. There's time when I can carry stuff from week to another week when it's typically not, say, necessarily the norm, but it's, Christmas time, you have kids, it was insane. I'm trying to dispose of trash for weeks at a time. When, you'd simply be able to use just a backup can, and that would carry the overflow, so it wouldn't be carried into the next week. And I don't see why, if you have an automated can, that's automatic can certified, that you're forced to buy, I gotta buy the $100 Upper Township can, when a $40 automatic can from Lowe's is the same quality and same width, and would be able to be handled.
Same colors?
If need be.
Well, it would have to be, because the recyclable picks up the one that's
Right.
blue, and the other trash picks up the
Some
black.
things recyclable. You can easily stamp a recycled can with stickers and mark it as such. And yes, Lowe's sells recycled cans as well. They're for automatic lifts, and other townships allow it. That you can buy another can that can be used.
Well, I will say that you're the first request for that I can recall in this township committee and since we started this program. So I understand it's, what you're trying to present to us, but I honestly haven't heard anyone else say that to me or come before this township committee and ask for that. So, it may be a rare occasion. And look, I admit that at times, when I have my sons home and grandchildren, we have a lot more trash than we normally have. But part of it is that I honestly believe that besides the fact that it's a safer way of doing it, more efficient way of doing it, that it really keeps the township a lot cleaner because we have consistent cans that are very sturdy and the lids are, what we put together when we went out to bid a long time ago, and there was a lot of planning that was put into this. And although I understand what you're saying, I would be reluctant to allow any other outside source of getting cans, because I think ultimately we go back to what we had in the past, where we had a lot of debris and litter that were scattered all over the place because the cans weren't consistent. Every time we had a windstorm, we had cans all over Route 9, we had trash all over the place, and we've prevented that from happening because of this system.
Again, I'm saying it's similar quality, similar things. I mean, I know you can't.
Well, who's gonna go around and determine if it's a similar quality?
They're stamped as such. They're certified as such. They're certified for automatic pickup.
Well, what we do is, the other thing that we do in a public works department is we train our people to collect a certain item. And once you deviate from that, then you begin to lose your consistency, because if it's okay to do it here, then it becomes okay to do it here. And if this guy has a can that's green, well, it still says trash on it, but then the next guy says, well, I got a trash can too, and it's this kind, and it doesn't have a lid on it. The other thing is too, that one of the things that we do as a township with these cans, through the guarantee of our vendor and also through our public works department, is when the lids break off, when the cans become damaged, we handle the repairs on those cans. So this is one of the things that we want to do to try to keep the community clean and uniform. And it seems to have done a pretty good job so far.
Good, not perfect, in my opinion, so.
Okay,
Thanks, sir.
we're okay with that. Anyone else? All right, we'll try this again. See if someone comes to the front door. So it sounds as if there's no one else that wants to address the public. So I'll close the public comment portion of the meeting, and I'll turn it over to Mr. Coggins to read a statement that went into executive session.
I hereby move that a resolution be incorporated into the minutes authorizing the Township Committee to enter into an executive session for the following matters pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act: contract negotiation for 4th of July fireworks, collective bargaining agreement, shared services with Dennis Township, and personnel. I also include in my motion that the estimated time and circumstances under which the discussion conducted in closed session can be disclosed to the public as follows. It is anticipated that the matters discussed in closed session may be disclosed to the public upon the determination of the Township Committee that the public interest will no longer be served by such confidentiality. With respect to contract negotiations, such matters will be made public when negotiations have ceased and there is no longer a reason for confidentiality. With respect to employment and personnel matters, such discussions will be made public if and when formal action is taken or when the individuals involved consent that it can be made public.
Second. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Pearson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried.
Thank you all for attending this evening. Please drive safely home. Have a great night.